All right, I'm recording.
Recording there.
Recording in progress.
Okay. At 6:07 on June 14th, 2022, I open the study session for the Board of Directors of the Colorado City Metropolitan District. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, first on the study session, leasing a property for grazing contract to review. Sarah had brought me one in before I went on vacation. Was able to get it to Carolyn. Carolyn reviewed it. So if you look there, the first one was the one that was given to me by Sarah, and then it has a note from Carolyn as to what she thought. There is some areas in it that are blank as to price and things that you wanted to, we'd have to discuss and put a number to. But it has been gone through, and we have a grazing contract if we want to do grazing.
Okay. I guess until we get down to the committee reports, I think then I'd like to hear from you as far as recommendations, what you recommend.
Okay, the next, we have two property offers. One is for the golf court, or the Frisbee golf, disc golf. We had this discussion last October, I think it was, or September, about they wanted to have a piece of property that they'd like to give out as a prize. I know the board at that time, they said they offered $1,500 and the board was at $3,000. I told them that the contract was kind of null and void because it was so long and we didn't do anything with it. Well, they're coming back and they're having their tournament at the end of the month here.
25th.
The 25th, and they'd still like to give a piece of property for the prize fund. It is off of Cibola. It is, let me pull it up here for you. Where am I at? Park. It was
Go to the left a little bit, Jim.
oh
On
yeah.
Andrews, up there.
I think where your hand was.
Just straight up in your hands.
Straight up.
Oh, to the right.
To the right.
To the right.
Right.
Oh, here we are. Okay, yes, it was lot 4 in unit 27. There is water there. There is no sewer. And they are offering the $3,000 for that lot.
And this was for the prize being, oh, sorry, yeah. This is for the prize being given away for the people that are,
Playing in the disc golf tournament.
yeah, the disco, okay.
So,
Thank you.
that was, yeah.
Any other discussion? So that we don't tear it up when we get to the bottom, what's the feeling of the board as far as value there, and if, what would we sell that for? What are we offering for an award? What would we sell that for?
Oh. Man,
If we were to sell it to,
I would think that it would be probably a $7,000 lot, somewhere in there.
Let's see, what's the size?
what's it worth?
What's the size though?
It's just a regular sized lot, 60, what is it, our lots are 65 by 150.
Little under a quarter.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd say 5.
Terry?
I believe that because of what it's going for, that 3,000 is probably.
I think So, sorry. I thought you were asking what we would normally settle.
Well, so so we are giving up approximately $3,000 is what
Yeah.
we're contributing towards
Yeah.
the.
Because I myself am more than willing to do the $3,000 to contribute towards what they've done for us.
Okay, that's what-
I was just giving you my opinion on what the lot was worth.
That's kind of what. All right, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, the next one you have there is lot 14 in unit 35, which is on 14 on unit 35, that's way over here behind Applewood.
Is it not up to?
That's right here, I'm
That
sorry.
apartment, that's a.
Algonquin. Where the apartment's set up here, Algonquin is down into that cul-de-sac.
But that is all zoned for apartments, is it not?
No, this is all, they're residential here. The
R4, which is
are-
apartments.
I know, but the R4s are up higher in this. They're up higher on this end of it, whereas I think these are still, I can check them, right? Don't have it on this one. I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
I thought it was wrong.
Opinions?
And they're offering you $3,500 on it. There is no water and sewer into that cul-de-sac. There is to the street, but the cul-de-sac don't have water and sewer into it. And it is in the far end of the cul-de-sac lot. And they know that there isn't any water or sewer there.
Opinions?
Yeah. She had one too.
Is this, sorry.
Go ahead.
Is this the one they said they were gonna pay closing costs too, cause something like that?
Yeah, they were gonna
They're-
have title insurance and
They'll do
closing
the
costs.
closing costs too.
Which
It's
we
a
don't-
cost that won't, usually the seller pays it.
Right.
And I was just gonna ask you, what was your opinion on it?
I think on amp, I'd say 4, because you're close enough to the highway and that area up there. I don't think it'd be that hard to get water and sewer into that cul-de-sac, especially if I have 2 or 3 lots around it. And that's kind of what I'm looking at is looking at being a living trust, or I think there's 2 other lots with it, so it's combining a lot. But that's my opinion. is
So-
4.
One more question. So they're wanting to do, so they're gonna pay closing costs because they're not gonna take our quitclaim deed?
Yes.
They're wanting to do an actual warranty?
Yes.
Correct. Thank you.
Value? Input?
I think 4's pretty right on.
How do you think? That area is set up for apartments.
Like I said, I can look at it when I get a minute.
Although it does not have sewer, you said it has water?
No, it doesn't.
It don't have either.
Okay. I think that's quite low. Any other discussion? Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, next, we have disposal of trees and brush. I know Terry and I, we both have talked to Steve. He is fine with us taking it up to the gravel pit, with his guys' training, if we want to burn it up there. The only request was that we need to have it supervised as to people hauling stuff in.
So they're not hauling in couches?
Couches and everything else. So we have to be supervised that it is just tree branches bushes, chippings, whatever that way, leaves, but, other than that, so it'd be a cost to us, and I know we've had issues in the past with neighbors complaining about, and that's why we quit doing it. I know personally, I do have them burning right behind my house. Once a year, we try and burn what we have pulled off the golf course and stuff like that. It doesn't affect us. I haven't had anybody in the neighborhood or around the area that complained about it, because it's been beneficial for everybody. But even there, as close as it's washed, there's still pallets that get thrown in there and old lumber and stuff that we need to watch for, because when we start moving that stuff around, flat tires, everything happens.
So what is our alternative?
The other alternative is, you contract with, waste disposal or whoever to have it, and I don't know how many bins you're gonna need. The biggest concern though has been with the windstorms and stuff, breaking branches on trees, that people just want someplace to put them.
Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, when I talked to Steve, they were not, he checked everything. He talked to Sheriff Taylor, he talked to the county, he talked to everybody. He was ready to do it the day he called me. He said sooner rather than later. He had no problems with trees of any size. You can bring in a whole tree if you want. He did indicate that when it was actually burned, they wanted to be part of that process so that they could be there. And he indicated that they would burn it in small enough piles that it wouldn't be a massive smoke thing. I believe that we could probably get enough volunteers to help. As I understand that area, there's one entrance in and one entrance out. Nobody's gonna sneak a bunch of tires in the back door. And I think that with enough volunteers and very limited hours, we're gonna do it from here to here on Monday, Wednesday, and one Friday, and then we're gonna burn it. I think it would be a great thing.
My question basically is what he just touched on. Do we have volunteers already lined up?
No, we don't, but I have one of our crew, and I was gonna get with Josh, but I haven't had a chance to see if he had it. So that way, maybe we can do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that way, and have one of our guys out there during the morning and one of his guys in the afternoon, maybe, just to run that program that way.
Input?
No.
Dennis, did I see you raise your hand?
You mentioned, well, I didn't hear where this was gonna be at, but.
The gravel.
The gravel pit.
Okay, I don't know where that's at, but, from my previous experience dealing with these things, I would limit the size of the trees and branches to 6 inches. Otherwise, when you try to burn a 2-foot tree, you're gonna have a big problem. That's just my recommendation.
Thanks. Other discussion?
If they've got trees that big, burn them in your fireplace.
Anything else? Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, next, I have letter of support for grants for the park. I do have, what is it, Valley First. Misty Sprague has been working on looking at finding grants to finish the track area down there at the park. There is some funding and stuff through GOCO, and all she needs is a letter of support from the board saying that it's fine for them to apply for the grant and money to better our property. That's what it is. So that's basically just part of that housekeeping for them to say, yeah.
So, has everybody read this letter? Discussion?
I have no problem with it.
I do have my discussion. The second sentence there, these struggles have led to the formation of a partnership between the College City Metro District and a local community non-profit Valley First. I think that's gonna have to be changed. We cannot,
Be a partner.
We can't be a partner.
We cannot form a partnership with Valley First.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have a problem cooperating with them. And I think a letter of that nature is fine, but we just have to be careful about tying ourselves into that. Down below, it does talk about, partnership or partnering. I don't remember what it is now.
Okay, yeah, Valley First, third paragraph, would.
And I don't know that that's as,
We have
ties in as much as a partnership, but
the Valley First.
But they both
we
said
have
it's probably not
partners.
partners.
Yeah.
So if I just took out his partnering, that
yeah, I think that maybe
would handle it, because
Yeah.
it would be Valley First with Colorado
with the
City
support of
Metro
Colorado
District.
City Metro
Source
District.
grant funding, yeah.
Or Valley First is assisting Colorado City Metro District or whatever, but something there to where not tying itself as a partner. You may.
So your concerns on the wording here is basically that, it's showing favoritism towards an organization, is that what your concern is?
No, I think forming a partnership between.
Well, I agree with that 100%. I'm talking
I
about-
think is, with anybody.
Yeah.
I think the problem, so,
I
I don't
agree
know,
that
I don't think that
100%.
favoritism is necessarily an issue. I think we need to work together with whoever will work with us.
Now, do you have a problem with Valley First has the full support of
No, I
Colorado City?
don't, no, I think that
That is acceptable?
That's fine.
I think
Okay. Yeah, I can make these changes and go from there.
Yeah.
okay, that's all.
Basically, it's just taking out the state grant funding part. And, his partnering. Because those two lines that need to be retracted from it.
Yeah, but I think we need to kind of be careful. A partner can end up being
Mhm.
kind of illegal.
Cause then we could technically, I guess, be kind of held responsible if they do something
Yeah.
that's not necessarily kosher.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on that one? So I think that if we can correct those issues, it sounds like we kind of have that support.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Jim.
One of the things that next on the agenda was, addition of community reports to meeting agenda. We kind of discussed this, Neil and I, and I was thinking, you know, under operational reports, do our operational reports, then we could have the committees report back where they need to on some of the areas that maybe are operational, be tying in together or whatever. We'll have to probably put it into our bylaws. We haven't finished them yet, so we can still add it in, to change that agenda program.
So, discussion with that. Any problem with changing our agenda a bit? I think we need to use committees. I'd like to be able to have reports from them.
So, question, on the four-wheelers, do you want me to do the presentation here? Or do you want me to do it under new business where they've put me?
I put you in the ball.
For action, of course, the committee report does not, we don't take action.
Yeah, I agree. I agree,
Basically,
but I-
discussion report, so I'd like to have I think, under the committee report.
I was gonna say, but I don't see it here. Maybe I'm losing something.
No, again, I just put out under committee reports,
Yeah.
so. Got it.
Oh, okay, but I'm talking about in the study session, do you want me to present the stuff You want me to present it during the regular meeting,
Yes.
under committee reports?
And then-
That's what I was wondering, okay.
Because what we were thinking, what I was thinking, great, on that aspect of it, is you can report it to these guys, and then in your business, you could make a,
Resolution if we want to.
Yeah.
Yes, I got it.
so that way it can go forward.
What I would like to do with the committees in general is, I think us as board members need to be able to depend on the committees for guidance on these kind of things. And at that point, the discussion, we all shouldn't be discussing the stuff that the committee's doing. We can discuss it if we take action, of course,
Yeah.
but we need to be learning from the committees.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Pilot gap, project and letter of schedule for the state. The state last Friday sent me, the proposed implementation schedule that they've been requesting since 2017, when this all started. I sat down, talked to Ben, told him that we are in the process of pilot plan. I filled out his form for him and sent it back as to what our steps and where we're going and how we're trying to improve the plan for water, for pretreatment, and that we are in the process right now with the pilot program for the DAF system. They ran some tests today. They will be running some more tomorrow to make sure that it would work with our water. The first test, they did it work with our water, but there is still a lot of heavies in our water. So it would need another form of pretreatment, or either a plate system or adding sand filters to the DAF to clean it up even more. If we ran with a plate system, the big question I asked him is, okay, I know with the DAF, will eliminate a lot of the smell and things like that down the road when it comes time that lake turns over. With the DAF and the sand, it would almost eliminate it. Whereas with a plate system, yeah, it's gonna eliminate, but it ain't gonna eliminate the odor. So they're gonna try another polymer tomorrow to see what it's gonna do. If, cause right now, they're looking at a goal of 12 gallons per minute on this pilot program. We're good at between 6 and 8. We get over 8, and it's not taking out enough of the solids to do what we need done. So we're still running tests on it.
So,
Yeah.
the report this time is we don't know.
We don't know at this time. And after they get through with all of this, then the engineer will have all the information and data that he needs to say, okay, this is where we need to go and why. But I'm waiting on that, as to what, and then what it would cost. So that way I can get the grant money to do it, because there is grant money out there for pretreatment.
Did we get this form from Colorado?
Yeah.
Is that something you filled out?
Yeah, it's their form. I ended up filling it out, giving them, because that's what they wanted was, well, okay, what is your projected schedule for these things to happen? Well, I told them, well, we're doing the pilot program now, so it's, as of today, we're doing the pilot program now to get the information all gathered, and whether it's gonna pass the state regulations, that's gonna be a month down the road or 6 weeks down the road. So we put in that date, and now, okay, to find money and stuff for it, to secure funding, it will probably won't be until November. And then final build out of anything will be probably November of next year or December, so. Yeah, they just wanted some kind of a game plan that we are working on as to get where we need to be.
Other questions? When will we know, Jim?
I'm not sure. Hopefully by the next meeting, I'll have something for you on all of it.
How long do we have that pilot program, or that pilot machine?
It's gonna be here, it should be done by Friday, so we'll be needing to ship it back. And, I need to talk to Greg and see, but I need to find out exactly where we're gonna ship it to, because if somebody else needs it within the United States, we can ship it to them, and it'd be cheaper than shipping it to someplace else. I thought it was Salt Lake City, but it isn't, they just needed the sand filters in Salt Lake City. This machine is actually from Canada, so I need to find out the location, so that way I can let you know to see if you have any friends that you know that haul long distance. And it's basically, it's a good idea if you guys can go up there and see it. It stands about 12 foot tall, 8 foot probably long wise, and about 4 foot wide. It's just a big machine. It's neat how it works, but
May I don't know, whenever it's time.
So for me, so we're gonna be on the hook to get it back to Canada?
yeah, well, wherever they need it. And that part of that 15 that.
Cause I thought we were going to, I mean, we were told it was going to Salt Lake City.
Well, and that's what I was told too, so I'm gonna find that out. I was talking to the guys today.
I mean, they can't change this midterm.
Yeah, no. But we haven't had any transport costs at all because all the other transport costs, even to us. So.
Ma'am?
Oh, hi, thank you. I'm just wondering, what does DAF stand for?
Dissolved air filtration?
Dissolved air filtration. Okay, thank you.
So, that's why I need to make a few more calls on it. Find out.
There is, so that
Because this was at 4 o'clock when I went up there.
Yes, we need some more information on,
Yeah.
certainly on that
Yeah.
freight issue as well.
Yep.
Okay, anything else?
Let me think if there was. No, just CCAC.
Because of, ends up just being me the last couple of weeks on the CCAAC, we haven't gotten that done. But we do have two bills that I would recommend that we approve. Vacations are interrupting us here a little bit, and because of that, Christie has asked that we put it off on more letters this week, because when she gets back, she's gonna be involved in other stuff. And she promised that we could do twice as many the next batch if we want. So I don't have any, letters that I'm suggesting that we authorize right now.
May I?
Yeah.
The question is basically to you. So you're in?
I hope not, but the last couple of weeks I have been, yes.
Have we lost all of our volunteers? No.
No.
No, we have to be careful, I think, with volunteers as far as actually direct volunteers. But right now, we need more volunteers. We need more volunteers in Architectural Advisory Committee.
Okay. I'll ask some more people.
Are you available? No.
I could be, but again, what is CCAAC? Sorry, I'm new to the town and
The Colorado City Architectural Advisory Committee.
oh,
And what that committee does, it's a volunteer committee, and checks out complaints, checks out the qualification for new bills, those kinds of things, and advises the board as to whether to approve the new bills and whether to send out letters about complaints or how to handle complaints. So it's simply an advisory committee. Does not have authority to direct anything, but does have responsibility and the authority to advise the board. The board has taken on the position of the Colorado City Architectural Committee, and the advisory committee advises the board.
Do you have to live in Colorado City to be a volunteer? Because I know someone that's actually an architect that might.
You have to apply. I think at that point, we probably would look at qualifications and other issues, but you have to, what we would request is that you give us a letter of kind of qualifications and your desires and being willing to work on the committee, and then the board has to approve or disapprove volunteers.
Thank you.
How does one apply?
I'm sorry?
How does one apply for this?
If you would kind of draft a letter and give it to the board as to, present it to the board as to what you would like to do, and the fact that you are, willing to do the job, and kind of some background, maybe a little bit of qualification. Then we would look at that and absolutely consider it.
You could just bring a letter that you are interested in being a volunteer, and if you have, if you have any building trades or whatever, you can just drop it off at the front desk here. Either give it to me or I'll give it to them, and we can go from there.
Make it simple.
Okay. Thank you.
We welcome volunteers.
Pardon me?
We welcome volunteers. Anything else? All right, so that's it for the study session, correct?
Yes.
Close the study session and open the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Colorado City Metropolitan District, June 14th at 6:38. If you join me in pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you join in a moment of silent reflection, if you so choose. Thank you. Let the minutes show that we have a quorum. Mr. Hochstetler is on the excused absence. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Can you, on yours, like, have that on the bottom two?
Oh, okay.
Can you add those two things?
Yep.
I overlooked them.
Well, that's fine. I make a motion that we approve the agenda, as printed with, adding property sales and letters of support for, grants, parks, and recreation.
Do I get a second?
I'll second the motion.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Do we have, approval of minutes? We need to do that first.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes of the study session of May 24th, the regular meeting of the May 24th, and the CCACC minutes of June 2nd.
Or, get a second. Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Bill Campbell?
Bills payable, since Bev was out on vacation, we had two sets of bills there, that's why you have two different sets. You have one from the end of last month and then the beginning of this month, so.
Anything unusual?
No, we do have, the start of the payment for our dam with RJH. It was $10,000 there. That was part of the dam. Everything else was pretty much straightforward.
Can I get a motion to pay bill?
I'll make a motion to table this.
Can I get a second? Sarah, you seconded? Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's pay the bill. Financial report?
Financial report, if you'd like the, bulk water stand, they have adjusted it. We were at, $30 a thousand, which it should be 25. That was done last week. They readjusted it when they seen what was going on. So it has been recalibrated.
How often does that get checked?
We try and do it monthly, because that's about the only time that you have where everything is, unless somebody comes in and they have a 500-gallon tank, and they say it costs me more than $12.50 to fill, then we'll go over and have them recalibrate it as to whatever. Now, when it's $11.20 to fill their 500-gallon tank, they don't come by now. So.
I'm still bothered to get as to why that changes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, usually it's water temperatures, you know, it's one of the main reasons, because as it gets hotter, that water expands.
So if that's the case, do we have that same kind of issue with the meters that we're having in our entire system?
No, but usually they're underground.
If it's simply a temperature issue,
Yeah.
you're correct.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, I did need to interrupt you.
Okay, then you have your financials as of May 31st. If you look, we are way above last year. We are still behind in the water department. Our biggest increase has been within administration. We have collected more. And also within Parks and Rec. Golf course, we are starting to get to that point where we're breaking even. I know over this last weekend, we're well back to where we need to be.
Any questions? Jim, is this information online?
Yes, it is.
So is
It is in the packet online.
Is it on our website?
Yes. If you go under today's agenda, it has agenda and packet, and you can see everything that's put in your books. The only thing that I don't put on there is if it's confidential information between lawyers and accountants or whatever.
Okay.
But all of this is general knowledge for anybody.
Go ahead.
Okay. Right next. Operational reports. I'll start off with Parks and Rec. Campground revenue May of 2022 was $9,402.81. By the end of May, we had $40,464.01. At the end of last May, we had $36,459.25 that we took in. Campground continues to be busy. We're on track to have our busiest season yet. We had our first big weekend with Memorial Day, and then the Colorado Van Association had their annual event. We are still trying to get cleaned up from the wind and snow damage. We are making piles of branches and trees in parks for now, and we'll try to move the piles once they have it all to get gathered up. We are trying to accomplish this and keep up with the mowing at the same time. Past weekend, we had numerous teams at the park for baseball and softball. We had 15 teams in all, utilizing both fields. The fields will be continually busy through June and start winding down in July. The pool season is underway and has been busy so far. We are able to epoxy our skimmers for a short-term fix, which is helping with the loss of water. We hope to replace the skimmers after the season. We we're able to handle the startup of the pool again, which is substantial savings of having an outside company come in and handle that for us as it was done in the past. Since the pool sits for 9 months of the year in hot and cold temperatures, we also have hoses, fittings and piping that needs to be reinstalled or replaced. We had some electrical issues with the main pump and booster pump that are both operating as they should for now. The toddler pool has not opened yet this year as we are having issues with the pump. We hope to find time to troubleshoot the pump and plumbing and come up with a solution this week. We are also dealing with a lack of vehicles right now. Our old trucks are in need of maintenance constantly. 2 of our vehicles are 25 plus years old and are taking more time and money than they are worth. One is sitting with a bad engine after we just had an ignition problem fixed, and the other is sitting with a cracked radiator. I don't think it's worth putting more effort into these vehicles as they spend more time down than they do actually helping us get our work done. For now, the new parks and rec truck is being used by the mowing crew to haul equipment and by the maintenance man when needed. I'm driving my own personal vehicle again, and seasonal maintenance man Hawk is also driving his personal vehicle to our different locations. I am limiting his personal vehicle use to only that. He will not be hauling anything in or behind his vehicle, and I'd like to thank him for being willing to do this to help Parks and Rec keep going. May wastewater report. The Beckwith plant produced 14 million gallons and discharged 3.2 million of wastewater to the rec pond, a daily average of 109,000 gallons. This volume is set to wastewater plant would put us over the 80% capacity of the plant. We would then need to look into expanding the wastewater plant. We need to purchase a sludge pump to remove the sludge at the bottom level of the backwash basin so we do not exceed limits on the BUP. Power outage did create problems at the plant, and a squared was needed to get some of the equipment to run again. I cannot stress enough that we need a generator at the plant. We are moving forward with pilot testing of the DAP pre-treatment. This equipment has arrived and it is in the water plant. We tested on June 14th through 17th. Alan will pull samples from in-house testing and sets to be sent to SGS lab for the state to, I hope, to have all results for the next meeting. We will be testing the EC process soon and will have results to the board. Greg has found major breaks in the ditch structure. These are pictures of the broken sections. It is of great importance that we fix all areas as soon as possible. If tension is not soon, the structure will only get worse and could create flooding and damage to the ditch. The wastewater plant processed 7.5 million gallons of water. This is one of the lowest levels in many years. Hopefully it is not a blockage. Greg has got basin 2 back up online. Jody has been pressing weekly and will begin to haul press solids to landfill. Lack of manpower has led to only emergency jetting and no meter replacement. Holly Dot maintenance course. We had 2.5 plus 11 inches of wet snow on May 21st. Rainfall collected in rain gauge. 3 new tees were put in. Tees sodded on May 12th. Tees open for play May 31st. Greens being sprayed every 10 to 14 days. Fertilizer, wetting agents, plant growth regulators, etc. Tees and approaches being sprayed on 6-2, frequency every 3 to 4 months per PGRs. Course being mowed constantly to keep up with playability demands. 3 new staff members have been added. Training has been coming along well. Course irrigation, full course irrigation, operating well. Shop preventative maintenance, real maintenance, and continue. As for the pro shop on the side, numbers for 2022 month of May membership is took in $3,528. As of revenue for last year was $41,241. Revenue for this year, as of May, was $49,795. This month beat last year's revenue. Tournaments helped. We lost some ground due to wind and weather. We have brought more families in this year, a lot of new faces. We have a new Tuesday night women's league this year. Overall, it was a good month. Utility operations report. Roads, weather conditions early this month were conducive of road maintenance. City maintained roads were ditched and bladed. Road builds will continue, ensuring gravel crushing contract and roads builds include Griswold, Douglas, Chavano, and Juliana. Service, oil, greased all equipment, filters changed all equipment, fuel pump and draw hose for potholer, fuel station maintenance, shop groundskeeping, clay valve rebuilt on booster station, allowing us to move water from 3 mil to tank 4. Sewer, we had 4,500 feet of sewer jetting with I&I. Sewer emergencies investigated on Kenichi, Lake Beckwith Drive, and various roads in Unit 29. Water and sewer taps were installed. Meter project was postponed this month to work on Neptune to Casal interfacing, as well as planning and development for finalizing phase 2 of meter project before moving into phase 3. That was 8. Administrative report. Grant application loan documents for CCWD awarded $50,000 grant for survey. The booster pumps were completed and back online to transfer water to tank 3. Dual well continued keep communication as to start date. No new information at this time. Reviewing communications with dam inspector and reporting back to Mr. Perry. Continuing to give weekly reports from Greg Bailey. Wrapping up audit with sewer and water audits should increase revenues. Making arrangements to reduce the cost of pilot test equipment, transportation, continually answering emails, calls, drop-in visitors on property issues and covenants issues, consistent of communication of residents through Facebook, and making sure website is up to date or answer if any questions are asked. Seems to be another building boom with Pueblo West putting a moratorium. Have had double the inquiries for property, CC questions, and service access for water and sewer. Might need to look at another tap increase. I kept that in there, guys. Completed communication with CDPHE with staying in line with compliance issues, as well with our engineers to help with issues over the last year. We'll continue to give quarterly updates. Pilot test underway, will be done within the week. Worked on grazing lease and turned into Carolyn to review. Contacting employees weekly and as needed to resolve issues or offer ideas of solutions of day-to-day operations. We have Tank 4 and SCADA program and able to read on computer now. Tanks are all staying full, plan is running well. Have a few more avenues of grants from Dave Diss from CRWA, Colorado Rural Water. He came down and talked to Yvonne the Friday that I left for vacation, and he gave us some more ideas as to where we can find some more money. So we're working on that now. Took a week off for well-needed vacation, but I'm already burned out.
Okay, any questions, input from the board on the operations report?
I got a couple questions.
Go ahead.
So, dual well.
Doing well.
I know, is he still giving you a runaround? Is he giving you any type of information on
I've
when?
gotta call him back again, and I called him today, and he hasn't got back to me, so I'll call him first thing again in the morning.
I mean, I realize
Or
that the
email him
guys,
and just let him know.
that the guys that can do this, they're very few and far between, and they're probably busier than all get out, but we haven't been able to nail down anything with the man, have we?
Well, we've got it nailed down, got a contract, everything there,
But when he's gonna start?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be next month, it could be 20 years from now.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Yeah. And that's where we're trying to get it, because he said, what was it, a month ago, that he'd be here in 2 weeks, and he wasn't, so I don't know what happened. No, I can get an explanation to it as to why.
Maybe we should learn from that we need to put a penalty in our contracts.
Yep.
Yeah, that would actually be probably a good thing in the
Yep,
future.
next time, yep.
So, what's your other question?
That's it. I'm good.
Jerry? Anything? A couple things. Water invoiced,
Water invoice,
how much, we have water produced, we don't have water invoiced.
the one, report as to.
Or water
What was-
meter, I should say.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
part of what I'm asking for is the water invoice should be the same as water meter. But we don't have a water metered report here either. Now, would that come from Aiden or from Yvonne? Yvonne should be water invoiced, Aiden should be water.
And
metered.
usually Christie has that and turns it over, and she was busy too, trying to get everything, so.
I have one with me. It was 8,600,000.
How much?
8,600,000.
Was what we.
What we held.
That was water you put out, water you sent out.
Bill.
Built.
Bill, 8,600,000?
Yes.
And he
We
produced
produced 14.
so we're getting closer.
All right.
That's because
Um,
it's those 2 months.
Yeah. It's July.
So, on the High Dot, report, operating well, I don't think he meant that it is operating well. What he means there is we are operating the well. Why?
How much were
Why are we operating the well, rather than taking it off of Greenmont?
Well, at a point in time, we were over full. So we didn't pull it.
Okay.
And right now, we did run it Sunday night, because we didn't have enough water coming down the river.
Okay.
Okay.
On the sewer, the 4,300 feet of sewer jetting with I&I, what's I&I?
Infiltration.
Infiltration.
Okay. We talked about sewer jetting too many times in the past, is that, where are we at on meeting state mandate there?
We're not.
And we also talked about subcontracting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we should direct, or is it, can we expect that to be?
I think that's something that the board, if you want to direct me to get some contracts to have it done, I can do that. I know we did place, what was it, 60 in the sewer, in the budget for contracted jetting for this year. Since we didn't do it last year, we added it in there for.
Remember that.
Okay, I'll have to bring it up, but I know I mentioned 60,000 because that's why we are
Okay.
over in that part of it.
I'll check.
On your administrative report,
Mhm.
you mentioned Facebook. Personally, I think that's, I like Facebook. I guess, as far as the board considers, is it wise for Jim to be responding to Facebook?
Usually it isn't me responding, it's if we do have a break or if we do have to shut down an area, things like that, to get it out in notification, because there is a lot of people that do Facebook, and in the past it has helped in that, notifying people that, hey, we're gonna have to shut down this block to fix a break or whatever, and people enjoy that. And I try to get it out there
Okay.
an hour before we do shut them off.
Okay, that's all I had. Anybody else?
If I may.
Ma'am, if you'd hold off until our
I'll be quick.
citizens input.
I'll be real quick. I just wanted to say, I actually think him putting it out on Facebook is a good thing. Not that I like Facebook, because I really don't. It's full of a bunch of degenerates. But it's a good thing as far as people getting the communication.
And usually, Neil, I do not answer to what I call the trolls. I answer if I see something that somebody has totally turned it around and say, no, this is what the Metro is doing, and leave it at that.
With caution.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess, so we have this, you have the, under operation report, you have CCMD directors. And I think that probably needs to change to the dam report, right? Is that what you meant?
No, that was with, I'm saying directors as the department heads.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I should put department heads instead of directors.
My fault. Okay, and then the committee reports. So, I think we pretty much have heard about the fire from Terry.
Yes, sir.
I think we'd like to hear from Sarah about the lease.
Well, it's basically, I think that a lot of it is to keep them from subleasing, because if you're subleasing, because they're not paying a whole lot, so they're not making money off the Metro's land. And there's something, a lot of it has to do with overgrazing, so that they don't overgraze the land and then the grass doesn't come back the next year, because they will have issues with dust and other things.
Do you feel like that in the lease, the written lease, that that's controlled?
Yeah, I do. And then Carolyn added some really good things on there that I didn't have. I don't have with things like that too.
And what about the amount?
I think it's low, but it's low, but it's also gonna help, as long as they don't overgraze, it will help mitigate too. So it kind of does help the board also.
So would you recommend that we approve the lease as written?
I would.
And just the $400 a month?
As long as he's not subleasing. Him not knowing the amount of horses he was gonna have on the property led us kind of to think that he planned to sublease it to other people, and so that's what we were trying to kind of control with that.
Question?
Yeah, so in the lease, you've got it to where he cannot sublease,
He cannot
correct?
sublease, those have to be his animals. One thing we could add, and I didn't see it in there, but I did read through it quickly, I just was trying to read the changes. You could ask for some type of like bill of sale, because you do, horses, you usually give a bill of sale. You're supposed to,
insure his
because the brand
animals.
inspector requires it so they know ownership. So you could ask for a bill of sale for the horses, I don't know if that's something that you would wanna add.
So how many horses would you recommend?
Cause is it
40
35
acres.
or 40, I can't remember.
40.
40. This year, I think you could do the 5, like he had stated, the lower number. I don't think, like 5 or 6. Horses eat a lot.
Do we have the ability to change that, the allowed number of horses?
We didn't, I don't think I can't remember if it stated how many horses. I think there was a blank spot for how many horses, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
So we could limit it?
Yeah, you could ask how many, and then you could limit it. I think it should be limited. Horses aren't like cows. Cows will eat and then the grass comes back. Horses will eat it all the way down to the roots. And so that could be the problem. If the horses were on there too long and there's no more grass left, they're gonna eat all the way down and the grass isn't gonna come back.
Do we have an out?
Yes.
Okay.
If the lease can be canceled if it's being overgrazed.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you doing that. Check on that. Would you, I think now we ought to bring up your TV.
The ATV stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that. Okay, so, as the board knows, just so everybody in the audience knows, a couple citizens, or a citizen actually, came to the board and asked that we look into using ATVs on our roads here in Colorado City, which actually, till I started checking into it, I didn't realize how many cities are doing that. I actually have a small list of a few of them that are doing it. But what I did was I went and got the ordinances from several of those towns. Craig, Meeker, Westcliff, Silvercliff, Leadville, Parachute, all of Custer County, Delta County, parts of Aspen County and parts of Pitkin County all allow ATVs on public roads. The one that I found personally to be the closest to what I felt like would be appropriate for us was Westcliff. The town manager there was so kind as to send me over a copy of theirs. And every one of you guys should have it. In what section was it?
It's in your operational reports. It's the red section 8.
Yeah, red section 8, you guys should all have. I just took mine out so I wouldn't misplace it when I go and misplace
It's
it.
in that, and it's back 2
Right here.
pages.
So anyway, it's 2 pages here, of basically a draft for the new rule that I would propose that we do. I added a couple things from, I removed a couple of things from Westcliff, and I added a couple of things. One of the things that I did add down at the bottom was basically putting the onus on Colorado City residents to know what roads belong to Colorado City and what does not, because I don't feel like spending Colorado City money to go post all these roads. So we do have a list in here
I have maps.
and has maps of all the Colorado City roads that we can approve. I also got Ortiz on the telephone. He returned my phone call yesterday, and he said if we approve this, to send them the final version, and that he saw no reason why they would not approve it for county roads inside Colorado City. That would allow Colorado City residents to use their ATVs on all Colorado City roads within the Metro District, whether they're maintained by us or maintained by the county. The only road that they will not be allowed to drive on would be the state highway. And that's the case in all counties that have this rule. They can't drive on state highways. My personal recommendation is that we do this, and I will actually, personally, if this passes, I will enjoy this, because it means that we are giving back some freedom, and government is so often taking freedom nowadays. This will actually be a refreshing thing if we give a little bit of freedom. Any questions?
Questions?
So is there just like a standard, license? Like, it
So
has to-
all of them in the proposal I have, everybody will have to be licensed.
Okay.
They will have to be a licensed vehicle operator. So 16 or above, but they have to have a valid driver's license. They have to have insurance. It has to meet, and I did call our local insurance agent over here. They do sell insurance for ATVs to be used on the roads. Okay, I mean, and obviously they do, because most of the cities that have this passed require that requirement. They have to follow all the rules of the roadway, and if the ATV does not have the proper lights, then it can't be ran after sunset or before sunrise. And I also have a limit in here that we could adjust, but I've got a limit in here like Westcliff had, where they can't drive them after 9 p.m. and they can't drive them before 6 a.m. That way we don't have, well, we already have people running up and down the street now over on Corona Verde at 11 o'clock at night with ATVs, but we're not condoning that.
Anything else? Terry? I have a couple questions. Yes, you mentioned these be posted, so we just need to post it, we allow it.
So yes, so back here at the very last, and this here is the one that it's probably gonna sound the least lawyer-like out of everything, because this is the one I wrote. The Colorado City Metro District rule will only apply to Colorado City-owned roads. See Metro District office for a complete list of Colorado City-owned roads. It is the responsibility of the operator of such vehicle to make sure they are on a Colorado City-owned road. That alleviates us of any, well, I thought that was a Colorado City road stuff, when the sheriff is writing them a ticket.
So by saying that, by that paragraph, I presume that you are consciously excluding Greenbelt.
Yes, only roads, not Greenbelt, only roads.
Now, how about the roads that are unbuilt?
That those would be all right.
Okay.
They're Colorado City-owned roads. Those would be all right.
Okay.
Like I
Hold
said-
off here.
Like I said, what we can do
If
is.
you would hold off, guys, I'll get you in the citizens input thing, and then you can ask them a question there. Okay, any other questions from the board? So, the next step here, Greg, I think is for you to actually draw up what we would create as a resolution to change our,
Got it.
Yeah.
regular rules and regs. Yeah.
Got it right here.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Okay. As far as the.
And you guys should all have a copy, and the biggest reason why I wanted everybody to have a copy is so you guys can read through it and make any changes that you see fit. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
I think that covers the committees that you spoke on the fire thing, so. All right, I'm gonna read the statement, be a good statement. Statement of conduct and demeanor. In order for the business of the board to be conducted in the most effective and expeditious manner, it is necessary that all persons present maintain a level of civility towards the board, staff, and each other. Conduct that appears threatening or aggressive will not be tolerated. Shouting, speaking out of order, or use of offensive gestures similar are not acceptable. Such behavior shall constitute the forfeiture of your right to remain in attendance and may, as a point of order brought to the board's attention by council or any board member, including the chairperson, result in your being asked to leave the meeting by the chairperson, or, upon your refusal, being escorted out of the meeting by the proper authority. So, citizens input. First, ma'am, I think you have input.
Thank you. So go back to.
If you would,
what is your name?
give us your name.
Oh, my name is Claire Pedke. I live on Reef Avenue. Moved here December of 2020. So I'm a new resident. So far, loving the beauty and the quietness. So that's one of the things that I would like to bring up is that, I understand people that desire their ATVs and all that, but I want to take it into consideration that, how beautiful it is to be able to hear the birds singing and fish splashing and dogs barking. So, as long as that's not an issue, I think all is copacetic. The other thing earlier was, give me a second. Oh, I did that one. Oh, so, the thing about Facebook, I got out of Facebook a long time, sort of in the same line as you are there, but, and I'll bring up my issue later if that's, or whatever I signed up to talk about, which is not on here.
You can do it.
That is the period we're in right now.
Right now, okay, good. Geez.
You had your the post office.
Yeah, the post office, yeah, but before the post office. Oh, Facebook, thank you, Sarah. Sorry. Yeah, so if not Facebook, then how do we get information about what's going on in the city?
Colorado City website.
The website.
We do have the website.
Okay, and so any shutdowns or electricity or whatever water issues would be posted on that website?
No, we haven't yet. That's why I'm saying the Facebook is, if you go to Colorado City Metro District, we have a group that Colorado City will come up and if there is any issues or things like that. You can call the office here if you do have a problem, and they'll usually answer it as to, okay, yeah, we do have a water break, we do have a shutdown. Normally, if we have time, we'll go door to door and knock on the doors and say, yeah, we are shutting down water for a certain amount of time or whatever that may be.
So I would ask that if it doesn't take too much effort to put on there the same information you put on Facebook, because honestly, I just got on Facebook because I decided I needed to know what was happening with the post office.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank
You
you.
don't have to have
And-
it
You don't have to have a Facebook account
to get to our page, our Facebook page.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And so my concern is, and I don't know if this is the right forum for it, but several weeks ago I got a letter with that same nice picture on top saying that we will no longer be getting our mail over at the post office by the highway, right? And that was the day that they were closing, so I went and picked up whatever mail I had. And I was told that we would be picking up our mail at the pool site. And I go there today because I don't have that much mail to pick up, but once a week or so I do it. And there it is, 2 US trucks and tables, foldable tables with boxes, mailboxes on there, and anybody could go up there and say whose mail they want, just give the mailbox number, and you got that mail, and you got mail. So I know. And then I get told, oh, now you have to go out to Pueblo, which another resident told me, hey, this just was what it used to be anyway, to go to Pueblo, but it's no longer South Pueblo. Now we have to go up to Highway 50 and pick it up there. So my concern is not so much for me, but elderly people. I haven't gotten any voting ballot information, which my other neighbor said she's gotten already. This seems like an odd thing.
So let me interrupt you.
Sure, go ahead.
As far as you ask about forum, we have absolutely no control over that.
No.
That's just not us. Any of those kind of complaints, and I hear your frustration, we hear it from all over the city, but we have no control of the post office. They don't listen to us. So we are at the mercy of the post offices where it gets mail. We'll help them when we can. We actually offer the place up to pool for them to put the trucks. But as far as actually telling them what to do or complaints or creating a post office, we don't have no authority. Your best avenue there is to call a postmaster.
Right, I did, but it was 9 to 5. So
May I address you just for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay, so, trust me when I say my wife is like 10 times more irritated than you are probably. And she's been contacting everybody you can, but I'll tell you the best avenue, and we need everybody in Colorado City to do this, guys, is you need to email Lauren Boebert, and you need to email the 2 senators in Colorado, okay? All 3 of those individuals, Hickenlooper, Boebert, and who's the other? Bennett. They all 3 need to get, their servers need to be blown up with emails from us, okay? Those are the guys that can control this and make it happen, because it's federal, and nothing to do with Colorado City. They could care less what we think, okay? They're a federal entity. So those 3 individuals, tell all your neighbors, tell your neighbors' kids, tell everybody you can think of to email these guys and blow up their phones and blow up their emails. They'll start listening if they get 3,000 emails.
right.
If they get 5 or 6 emails, they could care less.
How many residents are here?
There's 3,000 of us,
Is there?
and it's gonna take all of us, to be honest with you, for them to pay attention.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on. Dennis?
maybe you wanna go, maybe I should go last. I don't know. Okay. Okay, one thing about the postal service, I have blown up their emails, and I spoke to a person in Bobert's office, and they asked if you guys were, the city was aware of it. And I said, yeah, and I said, I'm gonna come to you guys and ask you to do it as a board, and they said, that's good. I know you guys probably don't wanna do that as a board, but they recommended that you actually do that, because it would show, they said that it would show that you are aware of the situation, and you are also concerned as a board, okay? But anyhow, I'll drop that one.
Thank you.
I would like to thank the board for taking action on the ATV thing. I appreciate that. I would like to thank you guys for taking action on the burn pile thing. I have some questions from several different people. I've been out looking for water leaks, as you know, and I talked to a whole lot of people, and everybody asks me stupid questions like I come and ask you guys all the time. But anyhow, the postal thing was one. Can the board change regulations regarding unit covenants? I know it takes 51% of landowners in a covenant, or in a unit, to change the covenants, but who has the authority to change the covenant itself? I mean, who did that to begin with?
The developer.
The developer did the contract, and every one of us that have bought a house, I'm sorry, may I?
Go ahead.
And every one of us that have bought a house since then have agreed to sign on to that contract. When we buy the house, we agree to that contract. And the only way that contract can be changed is by homeowners. That's it.
I didn't sign that.
Land. Sorry.
Okay, well, I thought maybe there was some way legally to change these covenants without going, because to me it's totally stupid to expect 51% of landowners, you know, contacting them when they don't even care, you know, what happens. But anyhow, okay. I don't like the no answer, but anyhow. Shipping container rule, okay, I got that one. Oh, this is a good one. Concrete and asbestos composite water pipes. Are these really in this? Are they actually in? Do we have actually concrete and asbestos water pipes?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay, the old timer told me we did,
We do.
and I about flipped. I know I guess it's coated with something on the inside.
We've done tests on it, there's no leaching whatsoever.
Do we have proof of that? I mean,
We have lab results, yes.
We
okay.
have Dennis, here's a report if you like it, about the asbestos testing.
Okay, well, that was brought up to me, and I like, oh my God, asbestos. I realized it was done back in the 60s when asbestos was a good thing, but, okay. Do new regulations, such as the one you guys passed, or whatever you did, allowing shipping containers last month, are those posted anywhere, like in a news, anytime you guys make a change or something? Is that posted like in a newspaper or on Facebook, on your Facebook page, or on the website or something, anything, so that people know that change has taken place? Because like the shipping container thing, I've talked to numerous people out when I'm out looking for leaks that had no idea about these shipping container things because they said that they were forced to take them out. If it's not posted somewhere, can it, when you guys make a change, can you post it on Facebook? Can you post it on the website? And can you, post it in the newspaper, local newspaper? Is that possible? Or feasible? I think it's feasible.
A shipping container, as a shipping container specifically, as an
Okay.
issue, that's considered an accessory building. So
Yeah.
what we do is we go by the rules for accessory buildings, and we have those. We have accessory building rules
Yeah.
within the covenants. And,
But in the past, they weren't allowed, I guess, and now they are with restrictions, and nobody knows that though. That's my point, is can we make the community aware of these changes?
I'll have to, I don't think I have a good response. Does anybody have a good response? I don't think that right now, it's a pretty sticky area, and it gets pretty convoluted as to what shipping containers, as well as going through the county,
Well,
all those kinds of issues.
I'm not talking just only shipping containers, I'm talking any time you guys make a change to something that affects us as a community. Can that be put in the newspaper or put on Facebook so that the community is aware of those changes?
Any kinds of rules and regulations, of course, are, and there's a public hearing for it. But as far as definitions within that, we have not in the past published those.
All the rules and regs are published.
They are published.
Yeah, all the rules and regs are published on the website. All you gotta do is go up there to the rules and regs.
But the definitions within that are not.
But the definitions are not?
Well, definition
Of your CCAC breakdown per covenant, per.
So, may I?
of,
So, here's one of the biggest problems, and I kind of feel bad being the board member that's saying this, because we got one board member here, right here, that is volunteered all of his time to take care of the CCAC stuff. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of volunteers in the community to help with this stuff. And stuff like what you're talking about, to get it posted out there, is gonna take volunteers. It really is. That's something that's gonna be part of the CCAC, I believe, that needs to happen. That's really stuff that's gonna take volunteers. I hate to say this, but we got a limited staff here that has to take care of certain issues. And it's not that one issue is worse than the other. It's just we need volunteers in the community. We really do.
let's not beat that up. I guess
Well,
that's
I
something
mean,
to take into advisement. I think that we as architectural advisory committee and the architectural committee probably need to look at that a bit. I don't think we have a good answer for you right now.
Yeah, it was brought up to me that, that they, somehow that any changes like that is put out to the community, so that they know.
it should be.
I agree.
It should be.
Recorded, you can go and watch the meeting and see what you do in the board meetings.
But I agree.
There's a lot of people that can't do that in the community. There really are.
Okay, let's not beat that up. Go ahead. What else?
Can I just add to that? That's why we have the process of resolutions, where they can go back into the resolution and see that, hey, yeah, this is about whatever.
Yeah.
But to Dennis's point, that those kinds of things that he's talking about don't end up being in resolutions. So, your point's taken. I've got something.
I mean, it's a good,
Go, continue on, in the interest of time.
Okay, let's see. Oh, last month I brought up about when someone complains, I believe that you have the right to face your accuser. Has anything been done on that? Any discussions, anything? Or
No.
is that going to, okay?
Neil didn't have time to discuss.
I didn't think there would be. I know it's a very touchy subject, but like I said, I hope we don't turn this into California with, whole new subject. Okay. Anyhow, well, hopefully, I'll keep coming back to every meeting and ask about that every month. So, and my last one is, and I talked to Jim about this the other day. There is a prefab home that went in on my street this past week, and I'm not at all happy with that, because 20-some years ago, when I retired from the Navy and came back here to live, I was told in Unit 5, under no circumstances was any type of prefab home allowed. and now I got a prefab home going in down the street. Jim says, well, we could be sued if we didn't allow it, because it's not in the covenants. And I was talking to my lawyer the other day, who's a real good friend of mine, and he says, well, he says, you could sue them for not allowing you to do it 22 years ago or 23 years ago too. But I don't believe in suing, but I just wanted to voice my frustration with that. You know, it's like somehow the rules changed over the years, and I'm not happy at all. But nobody really cares. Okay, I'll shut up now.
I think that, no, and I think simply that as a covenants issue, as you talked about earlier, as far as us being able to change the covenants, we don't have that authority. If you were to change the covenants, you could attempt to put in the covenants that some kind of restrictions that about the homes that went in there.
Yeah.
We don't have that authority. Now, there is the danger that you do that, you will be sued for discrimination.
Yeah.
But that's simplistic. So that's something we could talk about probably at some length.
Oh, yeah.
Outside the meeting.
Well, I was told there was only one unit in whole Colorado City that allowed that. And, you know, it's not that I was going to build or put a prefab home in,
No.
but during the conversation with I think he identified himself as a city manager back then, he just flat out told me that under those circumstances, will I put a prefab home of any type in that unit. So
He lied to
He
you.
was incorrect. Yeah. Okay, let's, we can.
oh well.
All right, let's move on.
Okay,
Okay, next.
I'm done.
Steve?
Hi, I just came to voice my support for the ATV resolution, and also, what she said about registration. There is a state registration for OHVs that you have to get through the state of Colorado to be on state parks, recreation trails.
And I have it in here.
Right, and I'd like to see Metro maybe have its own registration for Metro roads. Just a little card, somebody pays $10 a year fee, or a little sticker they could put on their ATV.
Good point.
And that's all I've got to say, thank you.
Dennis, you had a response again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to bring this one up when we were talking about ATVs, but I run ATVs 5 months out of the year in Arizona on streets and highways and desert and mountains. One thing that I would highly recommend for safety purposes, and a lot of cities do this, I know in the area here, as well as Arizona and New Mexico also does it, some cities, they require you to run a flag of a certain type or a certain color. A lot of cities require like an orange flag, and you know that it belongs to within that city. And it's really a good safety issue, or a real good safety thing to have
That was
a
actually
6-foot flag up there.
Okay. All right.
That was in a couple of them, I just
Yeah,
didn't put.
I think that's very, very important, because it doesn't take anything at all to come over a hill of 6 to 10 feet and smack somebody.
All right, thanks. Did you have that? Okay.
Okay, next, I have Lynn.
I have 3 things I want to bring up. Just when you were talking about the ATV, when you were talking about the roads and being on Colorado City, sorry, roads. So our road on Ray, half of it is Colorado City and half of it is Pueblo County. So I think if you're going to move forward, you're going to have to move forward with the plan of having Pueblo County involved too, because there's no way that people are going to know.
I've already done that.
Okay.
But they said we gotta pass it first.
Okay.
Then they'll take it
it'll
on.
happen. Okay, so I was gonna say, you can't necessarily enforce it until it all is one, I can go read this too far. So that's just my comment. Also note, is this where I bring up my fence?
Yes,
Okay.
it's coming up. Your fence?
So do I talk about it now, or you have it on another?
For
agenda?
approval of the fence, you mean?
Yeah.
That'll come up in the next section here.
Oh, okay. And the culvert, will that get discussed too tonight?
Yeah, I'm recommending that we approve it.
Okay.
But the board has to do it.
Okay, so my 2 are coming up.
Well, I just
Not the 2 you said?
The fence and the culvert.
The culvert, of course, is really,
our.
You can speak about that.
County issue.
Right now.
Yeah.
So I put in a complaint. There's a culvert that was put in front of our yard that was not approved by us or approved by you. We'd like to have it removed on our property, in front of our property. So we put a complaint in, we gave a lot of information, we haven't heard anything. I think the complaint was put in, and I've talked to Jim as well. And it was like the 16th of May, and the culvert's still there. So we'd like to know what's happening with that, and can we just remove it?
And then I think that's, let me talk to you outside the meeting on that. We are moving on that, but let me talk to you outside the meeting.
Is it on her property?
No, it's on.
It's on the front of my property.
Oh, okay. Because if it's on your property, you can do anything you want.
It's in the
Not your
right.
property. It's
Oh,
on the easement.
okay, okay.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay. Attorney's report?
Okay, just got email with Carolyn on the grazing.
Okay.
That was the only thing.
That's, we're covering that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to agenda items.
Okay, agenda items, you have resolution for dam water storage, conditions report. Like I said, I got that late and I put it in the back here, under the section 9 white clear section. It's behind the communication letter. It's resolution 07-2022, a resolution adopting a change in meeting, agenda, and reporting of dam and water storage conditions and project reports. Whereas it is in the best interest of the Colorado City Metro District to diligently perform required periodic measurements and tests of Lake Beckwith dam and water storage conditions, and whereas it is in the best interest of Colorado City Metro District that reports of measurements, tests, project status be performed, sorry.
That's what we get for giving you a week off.
Yeah, it's been a long 2 days. To agencies and individuals involved with the dam safety compliance, and whereas it is the best interest of the Colorado City Metro District Board of Directors to be made aware of Lake Beckwith Dam and water storage conditions and project status and total timely reports having been forwarded to agencies and individuals involved with dam safety compliance. Now therefore it is resolved by the Board of Directors of the Colorado City Metropolitan District, effective immediately, added to the bi-monthly regular meeting agenda of the Colorado City Metropolitan District Board of Directors will be a report read into the minutes to include weekly dam inspection report, lake level 4-inch pipe flow, 6-inch pipe flow, seepage, weir flow, pit condition, date and time of inspection and name of inspector. Date report forwarded to Colorado Division of Water Resources and to District Engineer. Monthly, a barometer reading schedule and status of scope of work with the district engineer, progress report of the district engineer engineering work, progress report on acquiring dam repair funds and sources, date report forward to Colorado Division of Water Resources and to the district engineer. This would be adopted and approved this 14th day of June 2022, Colorado City Metro District.
Discussion on the board.
Do you have a motion first to accept to vote?
I make a motion that we accept resolution for dam and water storage condition reports, resolution 07-2022.
I second that motion.
Moving second, any discussion? Questions?
This is awesome. Amen.
Anything? My input here is, as an email from Mark Perry, we have to get on top of this. We have less than 90 days, and that's what this is about. So, I think we'll
And-
move forward.
May I, because this does pertain to this, because I got off the phone with Mark Perry on my way to the meeting here. We still are not in compliance with all of our reporting.
Correct.
So, yes, this is important.
Let's vote. Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Hunter? And the chair votes yes. So, resolution is accepted. Now, this will be placed on the agenda, I presume, right?
No,
Here's
this
the
is-
operational report.
Yeah. We will.
Okay. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, next we have tree branch, drop off at a specific area. I didn't wanna put anything there as to, until we decided if we were gonna do that.
So I make a resolution that we approve,
Motion.
or a motion, sorry. Make a motion that we approve the tree and brush, burn pile at the, gravel pit, correct? That's where, any particular dates you want?
How about you, Monday, Wednesday for,
Monday, Wednesday would be best.
for your guy? Maybe Friday?
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
For this next coming week?
for the week of, where's the calendar here?
For the week of, we'll be looking at the 20th, 22nd, and 24th.
For the 20th through the 24th?
Yeah, for that week.
Does that work for you?
Monday, Wednesday. and
20th through the 24th?
22nd.
Yeah, 22nd and 24th.
8 and what hours would be good for?
What's
How
that?
many hours?
Probably 9 to 3,
Yeah, can we limit it to 1 on Friday?
and then on Friday.
9-3, 9-3, 9-1.
9-1.
Hopefully you guys all got that, because I don't want to repeat that resolution.
Say, did you repeat that motion?
Or the motion.
All right, so we have a motion to, okay, the tree and brush burn area at the gravel pit on June 20th, 22nd, and 24th. 9 to 3 on the 20th, 9 to 3 on the 22nd, and 9 to 1 on the 24th. Can I get a second? Sarah seconded. Let's vote. Sarah, how do you vote?
Could we open that for discussion first, Mr.
Well, I better open up discussion. Yes. I thought that the discussion came.
Mr. Chairman, my only question, Fire Chief Bennett indicated that sooner was better than later. My only question is if doing it the 20th, 22nd, and 24th gives us adequate time to let people know it's going to happen. Or if we should instead do 27, 29, and July 1st.
Input?
So he did say sooner's better, right?
He did.
Jim, go ahead.
What I'm looking at is, I know, looking at the weather, you're gonna start getting rain next week. I think it was Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it looked like we were gonna have 50% chance of rain. I would rather do it sooner, because when you start getting into July, our chances for rain start to dwindle until you get into August, which.
So the question though was, Ms. Kraus, forwarded here, is will that give us enough time to alert people?
I think it will. We can get the word out through Facebook, through the newspaper.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was happened
Oh.
to be thinking about.
Oh, because.
Next Thursday would be, this Thursday's papers.
Oh, okay.
So it wouldn't be coming out till just prior to
Let's put
the.
it on
But that's
the
all
website.
right, we can also put it on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
I can use, I'll post it on my Facebook page too, cause I got tons of Colorado City customers.
Okay. That would help.
Could we, put some posters up?
We can post something here. I'd say we do it at the post office. And this is for Colorado City residents.
I wonder if,
I think. we
That's a
need to
little bit
put
of a
that in
smart
there.
aleck comment there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've dealt with them for the last 4 months. My bad.
Maybe-
Library,
Maybe we put one at Aspen, a hardware store. if they-
Hardware store, yeah.
hardware
We
store,
can make up
library.
some-
So if we do this, then we have to, we do have to promote this posting issue where we get the word out.
Yes. Yes.
So, okay. Any other discussion? Now can we vote, Mr. Kraus?
All right with me.
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
Okay, chair votes yes. Passes 22nd, 24th, 93, 91. Okay, Jim, go ahead.
Okay, next we have the property sales. Like I said, the first one was for, lot 4, unit 27. It was for Darren's Golf, event price. They are offering $3,000 for that lot. I believe it would be in the best interest of Colorado City to, promote this and, get him at a cut rate on the lot, so that way it can be used for a price.
All right, we'll get a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we sell lot 4, unit 27 for the price of $3,000, along with our thanks for bringing another recreational activity to Colorado City.
Are you second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. A discussion? Let's vote. Mr. Kraus, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Yes.
Consent? Passes at $3,000.
Okay, the next one is property sale of lot 14, unit 35. The address is on Algonquin Avenue. They are offering $3,500 for the lot.
So I'd make a motion at this time that we counter with a $4,000 offer per city manager's, recommendation.
Do we get a second?
I'll second
Moved and seconded. Discussion? My discussion is, honestly, I think it's worth like that. Any other discussion? Input?
With it not having water and sewer, I think it takes some of the value away from it.
I respect your consideration there. Unfortunately, what happens is that we're seeing lots all over the area, all over the city here, that are selling for $4,000 or above, that don't have water and sewer. And that one being in the area that it is conducive to apartment buildings. Now, understanding that it needs water and sewer, but I think that is too low. Go ahead, Jim.
If it is an R4 for apartment buildings, I believe it would be a benefit to Colorado City because you do not have a lot of rental properties, and if they are willing to invest in putting in water and sewer, amenities to that property, and if you do have adjoining property, I think it would be a benefit to Colorado City.
I think in regard to it, I think that, I would agree with you in that case. My concern is that they're not, says nothing about them developing it, and they're not willing to put in water and sewer, and they're doing this as speculation for somebody else that does develop that area, and then they'll build on it. If within this offer was an agreement to put in water and sewer, I'd say absolutely. Any other discussion? Let's vote. Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Ms. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Hunt? Chair votes no. Motion passes. We will counter at 4,000.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I have, letter of support for grants for Parks and Rec. Is that under section 3, the red?
Mr. Chairman, I move we direct the district manager to write a letter of support for the Valley First. What is it called?
Valley First.
Valley First, to secure a grant for the completion of the area around the track with the changes by removing the sections that call us partners.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, discussion? Okay, let's vote. Ms. Hunter?
Yes.
Ms. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Kraus?
Yes.
And Chair votes yes. Old business, Jim?
Old business, covenants lower year, that is one of the first things on my agenda this week is, we ran into a couple of situations at Neil. I believe we will need some legal advice and covenants for, these issues. Applewood Park, like I said, we're just waiting for gravel on that aspect. I did, talk to Kelly. They are still out to bid for crushed gravel. I did talk to, down here to Natasha, on what it would cost to have 60-ton gravel hauled in to complete this. I think it was like $1,800. If we wanted to go that route and have somebody haul it in and start getting it completed. Cameras at the plants, we're getting them, I'm still waiting for them to come in. Pilot test is underway, doing well. Like I said, I've got to email him first thing in the morning to see if we have any more updates on it, because I tried calling him, he didn't get back to me. Utility director has been posted in paper, Colorado Rural Water, posting it on InLink, where I haven't had any return back on it yet. I got an email from Wendy Lockmore, who has said that it was posted and put in with Colorado Rural Water. Gravel status, like I said, it's still out for bid. Hopefully we can get it in by July, is what he's looking at. Lot line vacation, I'm working on that with Pueblo County to finish that up in lot line vacation, and then moving forward with setting that up as a park so I can get a parking plan in place. Audit search, we're in that process of finding, new auditors. Devon and I have been brainstorming as to setting up a letter as to what we need and what we expect out of the auditors that we would be getting bids from. So that's in that process.
Yeah,
Go
I got
ahead.
a couple issues here.
Go ahead.
So first one, lot line vacation. We are using, oh Lord.
Sugar.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
But anyway, he contacted me yesterday. He was in my store the other day. I asked him what was going on there. There's some information that he needs to be provided from you to continue this.
Yeah.
He says it can be done fairly quick.
Mhm.
He just needs to get that information from you.
And that's one of the aspects that is just putting the fence in. I needed to know where they were putting the playground and our border at, and we can get that figured out now.
Okay, okay.
That's
Well,
what-
all I'm letting you know is that he's ready to finish it up as soon as he gets that information from you. Applewood Park,
That's,
holy cow.
I know.
I'm almost ready to grab my truck and trailer and go get the gravel. Is that all we're waiting for, is the gravel?
Basically right now.
And
To get building.
the county,
We've been talking about it, meaning we're gonna,
okay, please.
yeah,
Okay, utility director.
yes.
So, I think we need to get a utility director ASAP. We continue to not follow the state. We continue to get a black eye here on this stuff. We've got the ability to hire a utility director sooner rather than later. And you should have received an application through one of the sites. If you don't, I have it,
Okay.
okay? But it should have came through one of the sites too, because he did submit it through one of the sites.
Because I haven't received anything on my email from anybody as an application.
Well, I have
Okay.
a copy of his resume.
Okay.
And I would recommend to the board that we really think about filling this position quickly. Because the regulations that we are breaking and continue to break is a reflection on us. Now, I wasn't aware of a lot of this stuff going unreported for so many years until recently. But now that we as a board are aware of this problem, if we don't do something about it, we're all culpable. All of us. So we really gotta do something, because like I said, I told you guys earlier, I got off the phone with Mr. Perry, and we are still not reporting the stuff we're supposed to be reporting. And I don't know how else to get control of this situation, other than we put somebody in this position that has the authority to start making changes. I yield the floor.
Are you willing to make a motion to hire?
We already have that. Just accept applications.
Yeah, we've already got a motion to accept the applications and start the hiring process.
Yeah.
So, I would have nobody apply through official channels.
Yeah.
You have an application.
I have one that was emailed to me.
Well, I see no reason not to interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion that we interview the individual, that we set up an interview. What do we need, well, before I make the motion, what do we need to, what do we need to do? We need to do a committee for the interview?
No, let's just do it.
Just bring him in for the next meeting?
Well,
Do the interview at the meeting?
In public.
We don't, in public? We can do that. All we gotta do, we don't need to make a resolution, all we gotta do is put it on the agenda, don't we?
Yeah. See if he's available.
He says he is. Like I said, I got his resume.
Okay.
So,
Did you email it to me or?
I will get it to you, yes.
I have a question. And I know you probably don't want to hear this, but to be responsible in my position, we've got to find the money. I mean, we don't have the money right now. But in order to interview someone and, you know, if they're hoping to get a job, I mean, we need to be able to know where our money's, we're going to get the money.
We're gonna get it, because we have no choice. It's as simple as that.
Well,
We can't continue, I'm sorry, man, we cannot continue to disregard the state's orders like we have been and think that this problem's gonna just go away. It's not. Okay, there's people in this room right now that are upset that I'm bringing this up. But I and the other directors in this room are responsible. We're responsible to Colorado City residents. We're responsible to this town. Period. And I'm not gonna, I myself am not gonna put up with this no more. None. Okay? We've gotta find an answer to this problem. And this is the only solution I've come up with. And nobody else has come up with a solution. And until a solution is found, we've got this problem. I yield.
Is it possible to comment?
I will give you a minute.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Collins, because I too am very concerned about our water situation. I was just wondering, what are some of the fundraising ideas that, if we have any, I'm willing to raise my water bill to get better water, because that's ridiculous that I can't drink my water.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Old business, I guess I do that, the park afterward. The other thing, I guess, Jim, is that that's where the Cummins lawyer comes in. So we need to verify what the eminent domain issue there. And that's the Cummins lawyer, I think, we have to get that taken care of. I wanna get with you on the name of Cummins lawyer and deal with that. We gotta get that done. Audit search. We've talked about this, both of you for over 6 months now. You know, we're still talking about it. So when are we going to have a name to interview or to discuss for a new auditor?
Hopefully by the end of August.
We have that, you know, hopefully by the end of June.
Yeah.
6 months ago. You know, so
well,
we need to nail you down.
okay.
Okay, that has to be done. We can't be putting this off. We can't just keep saying soon. We've got to get it done. So can we get this done by the end of July?
Yeah, we can. We can get information out to auditors and hopefully
Okay, we're gonna
get a response from them.
But let's say the end of July, and really, we're gonna hold you to it.
Okay.
Yeah, we discussed it today, the strategy of where to start and how to get some names and, proceed.
But we've been hearing about it for about too long now, so let's get that done, end of July. Okay. Anything else? Go ahead.
The previous board did approve the utility director. What was the salary that they are offering for that? I don't remember ever hearing it in the meeting.
It was 65 to 75,000 a year, wasn't
Between
it?
65 and 75.
Yeah.
Compensation is
It's the compensation and all the nonsense that goes along with the salary that's gonna cost us.
90. Around
I don't remember hearing it in the meetings.
Okay, I think that's all I had. New business?
Just the ATV. To direct to make a resolution for it.
I think we need to, refine the resolution.
I think we'll add the, I'll go, there's actually one in one of the cities that had that red flag put in there. I can just cut and paste it into this one. But what I'd like the directors to do, and if you've got a copy too, or any of the citizens have got a copy, maybe make some comments. And I'll put the resolution forward next meeting to be approved or disapproved.
If I could have the changes and stuff, like Thursday before, so that way.
I can get you the changes the Thursday before, and if any of you guys, I'll get you guys my number. Most of you guys have got my number. If there's changes you won't put in, since I got it all already in Word, I can just put it in there, cut and paste all that nonsense.
And then send it to me in Word, if you would.
Yes, I can do that.
You brought up having a sticker from Colorado City. I don't think that's a bad idea because there's gonna be more road traffic. Is that something that can be done?
I don't know if you can we?
That's gonna be a hassle.
There's-
We don't have the
I know, but you're also.
I don't think we have the authority.
You know, when you start setting for fees and water rates and stuff like that, you can add it in there to put it into your bylaws and your rules and regs. You can do it there.
If it's a tax, we can't do it.
It's not a tax.
So if it's a fee,
It's just a fee.
Colorado's already decided that fees are not taxes. Even though it's a bunch of nonsense, but they've already decided that.
so that's something we ought to look at.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else for new business?
Yeah.
One thing a new business I bring up is permanent part-time employee benefits. We need to nail that down. Could we get a list of permanent part-time employees and what their benefits are? And that's all I have. Anything else? Okay, on to the CCACC. We have the two bills.
Yes, you have new construction, 4808 Jefferson Boulevard, which is a house, and it is not big. And 4198.
Neither one?
Yeah, no, neither one of them are. Ure Street, a fence.
And CCAAC recommends approval on both of them.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the build on 4808 Jefferson Boulevard and 4198 Street.
Do I get a second? Okay, move to second. Discussion? Questions?
You recommended it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's get a vote. Ms. Hunter?
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Collins? Ms. Kraus?
You recommend it?
No, I didn't know. I don't say that. Chair? Okay. Approved. Okay.
Okay, actions at this time, there is no letters, first, second, third, or unauthorized structures. Correspondence, like I said, I put in Colorado Department of Health and their letter, which you want read, or, and I did answer it on the drinking water enforcement response.
section is it?
It's gonna be the first red section, right now, I'm sorry, the clear one, section 4.
Rather lengthy, I don't know, does that need to be read?
Because it has been responded to and handled. I do have one other correspondence too. This is, in reference to Unit 5, Lot 702. Dear board members, in August of 2018, we purchased from the Metro District, Unit 5, Lot 702. Before the board meeting, we submitted a purchase agreement stating that we were going to change this commercial B1 lot to agricultural lot. During the board meeting where our offer was accepted, we requested written permission for the board to make the zone change, and we were told that they didn't care what we did with the property after the purchase. Now that we are preparing to start the process of building, we feel that having a document in hand will streamline the process with the Colorado City Metro District Architectural Committee members who were not privy to the verbal approval. This will also allow us to hit the ground running after the rezoning by the Pueblo County Zoning Department. If you need any further information, please do not hesitate to contact us. At that time, we were not taping our meetings, so we have to go back through and listen to the video or the audio to see what was actually said, whether it was
which property was this?
This is Unit 5, Lot 702. I don't think you were on the board. This was August of 2018. Yeah, you were on the board.
I was on the board. That was my first year, I think.
You don't remember what happened?
No, I'm afraid I don't. But I may remember this property. Because another board member made a big.
It's off of Colorado.
Yeah,
Let me explain a little bit what that is. That's a B1 property.
Yes, I remember this
And it's
property.
3 acres, and there was quite a discussion at that time as to the price of it and different issues. But as a B1 property, because of zoning restrictions in Pueblo County, you cannot put a residence on B1 property. So the zoning would have to be changed, or they would have to somehow claim it was a business. Both of those issues they probably could do. The problem with rezoning it is, again, back to covenants, is that we as a board do not have the authority to change covenants. In the covenants, it specifically highlights that property, that specific one number, as a property that will be maintained as a commercial lot.
And if my recollection is anywhere close, the fact that we were selling them that property with that knowledge was mentioned several times.
Yeah, it was mentioned several times. When we sold them, that it was zone B1, and that we couldn't control the covenants, and that we couldn't control zoning. It was mentioned several times that we had no control.
Well, they're asking for a letter saying it's okay with us.
Yeah.
But it isn't okay with us because we can't go against the covenant.
I think we do need to listen to audio of that meeting, just to
Make sure that it was stressed that you're buying this as a B1.
I'm almost 90%, I mean, granted, it was 2018. But I do remember this one because there was a lot of discourse back and forth about property value and everything. And I'm pretty sure that we stressed as a board that we had no control over covenants and that we had no control over zoning.
I believe every code of conduct we have in the book was broken up, if I remember right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that one is not, we need to get some more research on that. And I can backtrack a little bit here, Jim. I think that this letter from Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, I think we do need to read it.
You want to read it? Okay. It's to me, James Ecker, Colorado City MD, Compliance Advisory Enforcement Order, EWO 318-151200. Comments on the engineering evaluation report and overdue implement schedule. On March 8th, 2018, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment Department issued enforcement order number DW 0318151200 order to the Colorado City Metro District supplier for their drinking water system. The order was issued as a result of system's failure to comply with the total TTHM's maximum contamination level, MCL, and phosphatic acids, HAA5's MCL requirement of the 5 CCR 1002-11, the Colorado Primary Drinking Water Regulation 11. Comments on the engineering evaluation report. The department's engineering section has reviewed the supplier's engineering evaluation report dated April 20th, 2022, prepared by Milco Engineering, submitted to the department on April 22nd in response to paragraph 28 of the order. The department has identified comments on the engineering evaluation report that must be valued in a pilot demonstration scale project application for the supplier's preferred alternative, a dissolved air flotation high rate clarification system, a DAF system. A summary of the comments is provided here with the full description of the comments in the enclosed memo. The supplier must submit additional information about the size, capacity, and eliminate the costs of the proposed DAF system. Please see comment number 1 on the enclosed memo for the full description of this comment. The supplier is required to submit a pilot demonstration scale project application for the DAF system. Please see comment number 2 on the enclosed memo for the full description of this comment. The supplier is required to narrow down the preferred funding sources and initiate the application processes. Please see comment number 3 on the enclosed memo of the full description of this comment. If there are any questions regarding suppliers' enforcement requirements, please contact Ben Kelly by phone. His number is 303-692-2367, or by emailing ben.kelly@stateofcolorado.us. Enclosures, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment's May 25th, 2022 memo, preliminary engineering report review, drinking water enforcement response, proposed initial implementation schedule.
Thank you. Those references to the enclosed memos, those are available?
Yes, they are.
I think it needs, the reason I asked for that, it needs to be read into the minutes. So as long as those memos or those memos are available, then I think that's adequate. The public needs to know that this is available to be viewed any time. Okay. Anything else? Any other?
No other correspondence.
Okay. I need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion now that we enter executive session 24-6-402 4FCRS personnel matters. Greg Bailey, water and sewer operator, requested to be held in executive session.
Okay, I temporarily close this meeting.
You have to have a second.
Oh, I have to get a second, and that's right.
Motion.
Can't just do it, huh?
No.
Okay, that's seconded. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Let's move in second. Those are the executive session.
Everything's left out, don't.
Oh, yeah. First.
I heard that you look at family services.
No, I'm going out looking for water leaks in our system because we're losing so much water. So I'm going out on my ATVs and I'm looking for water leaks all over the city here. And I've got maps like this and I'm running my GPS also, so I can track every street that I'm on.
That's all you should have.
What's that?
I'm just wondering if you had anybody know, because every time I look at my problem, every time I turn on my hose to water outside, water leaks in between the stucco.
Your water faucet, you got a self-draining faucet, so that. And you've got a leak. The leak is.
Yeah.
Mine did the same thing. Now, you just pull that whole thing out. Well, you're gonna have to resolder it.
I usually work with
Have it
them now.
resoldered if that's the case. Like mine was, it was, mine cracked. I had a little crack in mine, every time I turn it on, it had a little leak in between the walls. So I had to go in there and with a blow the torch, and melt the solder, pull that out, solder a whole new one on it. You have to call it plumber.
My sister.
I don't, there's gotta be a plumber around here somewhere. I don't know hardly anybody in this.
My brother-in-law
Maybe I've been here
did
for 20 some years.
They don't.
Just redid my bathroom about 6 months
Well, go to Facebook and say, I need a plumber.
Well, that's it, you go on Colorado City page and ask the question, and somebody will give you.
Your ability to get around with
My ATVs actually are licensed. They are tagged for roads in Arizona. I've been stopped.
Yeah, and if you can't find it, just give us a call and we can email
Driving on county roads and they threaten to write me a ticket. And I have a copy of the regulations that their boss, Sheriff Taylor, whatever his name is, Taylor, he gave, it's out here in front, he gave me the sheet of what's legal, what makes a vehicle legal.
No, they're in
My
a meeting.
vehicles, my ATVs,
I'm not sure how
at
long
least
it'll
my
be,
side-by-side,
they'll come back out.
exceeds those requirements.
secret board
So I
meeting
told
they're
the
in?
cop, I said, please do, go ahead and write me a ticket.
Oh, I need to talk to them about this.
It's officially executive session.
Oh, did you?
The official
But
one.
I've got.
Okay, I guess I'll hang up for a little bit, do you think?
In Arizona, they run, for ATVs, they run motorcycle tags. Just, regular motorcycle tags, like car tags.
Yeah, I'll wait a little bit longer if I don't fall
Queen
asleep.
Valley in there.
I get up early, I'm an early bird, so.
I go down there every winter.
It is late.
You go down there and fifth wheel
It's
every
like,
winter.
it's light outside, so it
we're
doesn't
down
seem
there
like it's
for
that
5
late,
months.
but.
But
Yeah,
my
we
mom
have all
said, I
over
said,
it.
John, I thought
Yeah.
about it.
It's just like a
Where
car.
are we going?
You know,
Oh,
okay.
that's so exciting,
Yeah.
it's so interesting.
But I've
Does
got-
that go with golf carts?
Huh?
Golf carts, it says here that
Golf
they
carts.
have to come every
Golf
other
carts are different.
Tuesday or every other Tuesday.
Golf
can't
carts
be
are
on
different.
roads,
First
period.
and last Tuesday.
Back in my hometown in
When
Kansas,
they come back.
they drive golf carts all over the town.
They
But,
normally
you know,
just
but
adjourn.
the city allows it, you know?
Where my mother lives in Florida,
Any kind of
in
personnel.
Lakewood,
Oh.
they ride them down the main highway.
Oh, yeah,
My father had
So I
a
guess we're
golf
going.
cart shaped
Yeah,
like
so they
a
won't, they'll just come out
GTO.
and
Yeah.
use it.
You know, I mean, it looked just like a car, but it
Yeah.
was smaller.
little bitty.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Uh-huh.
For voicing other people's concerns as well.
Hey, I love coming here
Bye,
and just
Lynn.
raising
Nice
hell.
meeting
with
you.
it.
Both of you, see you soon.
I live right up there on Beale.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I built my house 13 years ago, I come down to the Architecture Control Committee, that bunch of idiots that were on it back then, and you had to have 1,400 square feet.
Yeah.
You had to have a garage.
yeah.
You had to be set back 65 feet from the road.
Mhm.
And yet this guy up here on V Hill in St. Vrain is building 1,200 square foot houses with no garages, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They paid somebody off in here.
I wish I would've known, about the covenants back then. I wasn't going to put in a prefab home. I wanted to build a home. But just the idea that they told me under no circumstances could I have a prefab home out there in Unit 5, which is across the
Yeah.
creek here,
Yeah.
you know? And then all of a sudden I get this prefab home going in down the road from me.
Well, when I built my house, well, I had it built,
Yeah.
it's a modular.
Mm-hmm.
And the first meetings, we don't allow mobile homes here.
Yeah.
I said, this ain't a mobile home, it's a modular.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just as bad as a mobile home. I said, a modular is better built than some stick-built houses.
Yeah, well, see, they told us we couldn't even have those over there.
Well, I had to get a lawyer
Yeah.
to convince this architectural control committee that I could have a modular. And they fought me tooth and nail for 2 years.
Wow.
You know, and that's when Lou Guzzo and
Oh, yeah.
he was on the architectural control committee at the time and all this bullshit.
Well, for years,
We didn't even discuss any of it, they just.
well, I've got all kinds of stuff over in my house that I never, well, I came over here once and they said they don't have an architectural committee.
We did that for a couple of years.
Yeah, and so I talked to the city manager, that crook that they fired. And I told him what I was gonna do, just go ahead.
The roads.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm hoping they better grandfather it in. And, cause I don't believe in suing.
Working on the
If
policy.
they come over there and start picking on me, we're going to court.
Do you know what's illegal that they're doing right now?
What's that?
It has to be closed.
They cannot act as an architectural control committee, it's a separate committee.
I'm worried about that.
They passed a law a couple of years ago, just 2-3 years ago, that they are gonna take over the duties of the architectural control committee because they can't find enough people to make one.
Yeah.
They still, whether they got one or not, they cannot do it, it's not legal. I got a cousin that's a lawyer up in Denver, he gets a lot of property law. And when I told him this, he says, laughed, he says, somebody can fight them.
Well, my lawyer, he's a real good friend of mine. We've been friends for years. We're back in the Navy, years and years and years ago. He was a JAG officer in the Navy, and now he's in Denver. And we were just sitting there shooting shit about, different things. And I said something to him about, Jim told me that, if they prevented this house from going in down the street from me, that they could be sued. And I told him, that when we built our house, even though we weren't going to put in one, we were told under no circumstances could we put one of those in of any kind. And he's like, "Want to sue him?" I says, "No, I don't want to sue him. I don't believe in suing."
Well, when I bought my first house, was next door to where I am right now.
Yeah.
My wife and I, that was a modular.
Yeah.
So when I got my divorce, she got the house, I got the empty lot.
Yeah.
I had a better way to piss her off, I built
The
my
one right
house
next
right
door?
next door. And I was told,
It's good that you.
I can't have a modular. I said, I just moved out of a modular.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit different. No, I said, it's next door to where I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah. They,
Today.
I've been coming here
Rochester
for
to town back in-
a couple of years now to these meetings, and just last
And,
year,
drove to the
before we
left.
went to Arizona in October, I came and brought up the thing about ATVs. And Glenn, or Greg,
Anyway, and it is
Collins
odd,
says, I'll take that, he says, I'll run with it.
But,
I come back in April when I asked, I said, I have support, I said, so does anybody got anything with that? And the board kinda looked at each other and they're like, no.
Neighbors, and they came tonight.
So,
just
I was like, okay, I don't know who's gonna take it.
And,
Glenn
they
said he,
agreed more
Kurt
after,
Gregory
so
said he
it
would.
needs to meet
And he
them,
has, and I'm really happy with that, you know? And I brought up about the burn pile. You know, because I go up and down my road and I look up, and I cut everybody's trees and everything else for them. You know, and I haul it up to the mountain, we got some property up there, and I haul it, you know, the limbs and crap up there and drop it off, you know, and just let it, you know, deteriorate away, you know, with the rest of the dead forest. But I thought, you know, we need a burn pile, especially with these 90-mile-an-hour winds.
And
You
they
know?
asked if they could find.
So they actually got it approved now.
City owns.
But they need, instead of
Give it away.
allowing big humongous trees up there in the burn pile, they need to limit it, like I told them before, to 6 inches.
Small wood.
Yeah.
I mean,
If-
It's over there.
I mean,
all the ones I've,
you put a 16-inch log in a burn pile, it's gonna burn for 2 weeks.
oh, yeah. That's what I told, that's why I told them, you know, limit it to 6 inches, you know, burn the rest of it, or cut the rest of it and block it up for firewood.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna be sitting there for, you know, 2 weeks with it burning and smoldering.
Well, I gotta go home and let my dogs out.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for him because I wanna ask him about the size limit on the burn pile, because I wanna push for that, because, you know, if they're gonna allow
I
big
used
logs,
to
they're
bring
bringing
them down to all the meetings until Outer Bob got on. I got so sick of him. I just stopped coming.
Comical. He's comical.
2 out of 3, 2 out of the 4 here,
Huh?
you can't hear them.
No.
And then he talks, it sounds like he's got a mouthful of shit in his mouth.
I think next time I'm gonna tell Sarah she needs to speak up.
Oh, you can't hear her at all.
They need a microphone or something up there, I guess.
They gotta have something.
Yeah.
I was sitting home and I knew there was a meeting tonight.
I put it on Facebook because I've been trying to get people to come.
Well, I had planned on coming.
Yeah.
I looked at what time's the meeting? 6 or 7? So I put it on Facebook and somebody said, you better get down there at 6 o'clock. I gotta go by that.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
All right, take it easy. So what, somebody put is there just a culvert sitting there at your
Well, I'm
place?
sure you've seen it.
Huh?
I'm sure you've seen.
Is it installed or?
So yeah,
is it
what,
just sitting there?
no, what happened was, as you're coming down Colorado Boulevard, you know, I told you where we live, there's 2 houses, those 2 little houses.
Those 2 brand new houses.
Well, the one that is adjacent, or, no, adjacent.
East, on the east side.
So the one, they're on the west side of me.
But yeah,
So
the west side of
houses.
you.
Yeah, so the one that's right next to us decided they were going to take part of our land, build a road. They built a road, I don't know if you saw that. And they're the ones with the gigantic rocks in front of their house right now.
Yeah.
So they decided they were gonna, they had their contractor, it's my daughter, they had their contractor build a road on 8 feet to 12, well, actually almost 16 feet of our land to build this road, so they could take these trucks and put rocks in the back, and then use that road to put their RV back there after this guy gets this done. We never told them they could have our property, never told them that they could do this. Huh?
I'd sell them 8-10 foot of it.
We can't, it's mortgaged.
Huh?
We can't, it's mortgaged. They looked into it with the previous owner, cause they asked and we asked the previous owner, you know, and he said, oh, you know, I told him I might sell them a little strip, they need to look into it. Well, she did, and the title company's not gonna allow it, and I guess if we owned it outright, that we mortgaged it, so the bank owns the lot.
Oh, yeah, if your land is mortgaged, yeah, they
it's
won't allow
mortgaged.
that.
So anyway, so they decided they're just gonna take our land without our permission, built a road in one day, and if you go by there, you'll see we had to do a new survey, because they either pulled the stake out,
Mhm.
or they built the road on top of the survey stake.
Yeah.
And we've only been here since March.
Oh,
And so we had to pay for a new survey to find that thing, and then Mark, my guy, he went out and built us a temporary barbed wire fence, so they'd stay off of our land.
yeah.
And they had what they did is they had their culvert, and what the Pueblo County says is you can have a culvert, and I know you guys kind of have your neighbors, seems like you guys kind of share.
I put ours in.
Well, it's so.
And I paved my neighbor's driveway, everything for him.
Yeah, see, that's fine, you work that out with your neighbor.
Yeah.
But, so your culvert's supposed to be in front of your driveway. I talked to Roads and Bridges, but what they did is they put another 13-foot culvert in front of our property to build this road. So they're like 8 feet in front of our property to build a road that they can't use.
See, my neighbors did that too, and I personally, I don't care.
They did what?
They got onto our property, you know, and I told them, I said, I really don't care, you know, it's no big deal. And I tell them they park on my property, everything. I
Well,
don't
if
care.
your friends or if they talk to you about it, I mean,
Yeah.
these people didn't just took it, and they said.
Well, they just kind of started parking there, and I'm like,
they're parking there,
I
but
don't care.
they said they were gonna take our land. They said, oh, we're gonna just take your land, and we're like, no, you're not, get off it. So I think if they would have approached it or said, hey, came to us, they didn't tell us anything.
I try to work it out with them though instead. I mean,
we tried.
Maybe I'm just too easygoing, but I don't get excited about stuff like that.
We tried.
I really don't.
We put a contract together and said, okay, come move your dirt, because you didn't come to us and ask us to build. But, well, see, the thing is, they're parking on your yard, but they didn't build a structure on your yard and said, oh, we're taking your property.
Well, I actually got part of the fence on it, but I don't care. You know, but like I said, I'm pretty easygoing and stuff like that. You know.
No.
Well, to each his own. I mean,
they burned some bridges. I mean, we were pretty
Yeah.
nice. We're very nice and very flexible and very low key.
Yeah.
But don't come. We just bought our property, and
Yeah.
we want to put a fence on it.
Mhm.
And they put dirt where we're going to put our fence. They
Yeah.
never even asked us.
Yeah.
So if they would have came over and said, hey, can we do this? Can we wouldn't work with us? It'd be one thing.
Mhm.
But for them to come and build a road
Just do it,
without
yeah.
our permission, and one day put a culvert there, built the road while I was gone.
Well, I noticed there was kind of a road there alongside their property, and there were stakes there, and I thought, okay, you know, it looked like the stakes, you know, were the dividing line between the properties or something when I drove by, but evidently what you're saying is.
If we didn't put that up, they'd be walking on our property, and then even take even more. I mean, these people they went the wrong way of doing it. They should have came to us, asked us if we would help them get their stuff back there. But they literally said she told me, she said, my husband said he's just gonna take your land. And I'm like, no.
Wow.
So,
that's kind of brave.
So yeah,
Well,
and we kind of went and ripped out that culvert.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, they put the culvert in, can't we go rip it out? And they said no. We need it the right way. So we're doing it the right way. We put in a complaint.
That's Metro District Road there, isn't it? It's not county up there.
Right.
Okay. Because all of Colorado Boulevard is all county, with the little roads going off of it.
So yeah, so it's weird because right in front of our house, this way is Colorado City, this way is Pueblo County.
Oh, okay. Oh, it is county. So it's county. Is it
So
county
it's
going
split.
up to your place then, and then
I
turn
don't know
up?
if Mesita is Colorado or not, but I know Uray is, because that's where we ran into. Who's gonna fix this for us? And if it would have been Pueblo County, they would have came and ripped it out a long time ago. So are you looking from our place, or are you looking at something else?
No, I'm looking. You're in here?
So, no, where are we? So where is,
There's Colorado
here it is, right
Boulevard.
here. So here's.
Oh, you're, okay,
Mesita.
there we go.
So this way is
Yeah.
colored, that's Pueblo County.
Does this Pueblo County do that?
Yeah.
It must be if this does.
Yeah, they colored it. And then from that section, that way is Colorado.
Yeah.
And so they literally.
But this isn't finished out.
Oh, no, 195 is us.
Yeah. 'Cause
So-
see, I've got,
Part of ours is on Plum County and part of ours is on Colorado.
yeah, I got 17, 18, 19, and then,
You have this?
yeah.
623? See, we would love to get, there's property behind us that we would love to get, but it's owned by somebody else.
Yeah.
Cause we don't wanna build on it, we
Well,
don't
see,
want to build on it.
Well, that's, our house is on 18. When we built our house and everything, the contractor was owned this piece of property here too. He was gonna build another house over there. After he built our house for us, and I said, no, I said, you build our house, I said, you sell me this piece of property here too. We went back and forth for a few months, and finally he said, okay, so don't sell me this piece of property.
Nice.
So we bought that. And then a few years ago, I was trying to buy this piece of property to keep people from building there. And finally, I got a hold of the guy. The family that owned it lost it, taxes, because the parents died and the kids never paid tax on it. So I got a hold of this guy that said that the county said that he owned it, and he had bought it at a tax auction sale. This and a whole bunch of others. He never paid taxes on any of them. So I offered him what he owed, plus $1,000, well, about $500 more than what he owed in taxes. So I bought that from him, you know, and then we got this other part.
I have no idea, cause it looks like you guys are fairly close, so you guys are, your house is on 118 and your neighbor's on 116?
Yeah. And then my neighbors, they own 116 and 117. Their house is there. And then another gal owns 114 and 113. So she bought this to keep from getting moved into. And now, right across, let's see, right here, this one.
Oh, I saw that,
The-
that's what you were talking about.
They're, no, you mean the house, the prefab home? It's down there.
No, I know you're
Oh,
looking at, but
yeah.
you were telling me last time about
Yeah.
that lot across your street.
Yeah. I guess, according to the county website, that lot sold for $20,000. The guy that owns this lot and this lot is trying to buy it from them, so they don't build a house there. But they moved in, they went in there and they did a survey, or they surveyed it, and there's stakes all over there. And then a truck pulled in there the other day and dumped a load of gravel partially on the road. So I took my skid steer over there and I moved it off the road. You know, but he's trying to buy that so that they don't put the house in there. And the people that live here, they can't afford it if they, you know, they're in their late 80s. They said 10 years ago they could have afforded it, but this guy over here, he can afford it. So he's trying to get that for 20,000 or 22,000, whatever it's going to take. He wanted to know if I'd go in with him. I said, it's not going to really do me any good. It's across the road from me, man.
Yeah, what do
you know?
figure? Where do we find the Colorado City owned properties? Did you guys have
County
a
website?
I don't think you have a list.
You have to go to the county website. Oh, well, you just have to look at it property by property, I suppose. I mean, there are.
County assessors?
Yeah. Colorado City does own some property along here.
Yeah, we can confirm if we own it, if we have the lot number and the, unit number.
Yeah.
So, well, I know this lot behind us is owned by someone else,
Yeah.
because we looked into that.
You
Oh,
can
yeah,
go on the county website.
The county website will tell you who the owner is.
Yeah, tells you the owner and the address and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we looked at that one, because that's the only one we were really interested in, because it's behind us, and
Yeah.
somebody else owns it, because it's like, oh gosh, if they build right there, it's gonna be looking right at us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Well, some of these pieces of property are just totally unbuildable.
Well, yeah,
They, you know,
they're telling us with this one, there's supposed to be a road that comes
with that
back.
cliff.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a little bit of flat where is it? We're over here.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's, see, this road's not built yet.
Yeah.
So, and so there's no utilities or anything, so whoever, you know, he's just gonna be sitting on that property,
Yeah.
whatever.
See, that's the thing, is all these people, that's my complaint, is all these people in Unit 5, I've gotta get a hold of somehow and say, hey, I want to change the covenants to this. There's gotta be some way to legally do that, to change covenants without getting everybody in the whole unit. There's gotta be some way to do it. I think I'll have my lawyer start working on it or something, figure
That's
out some way
probably the
to do
best-
that.
That's probably the
That's
best way to go.
crazy. It's crazy to expect, I mean, you'd have to get a hold of 200 people,
What do you want to change?
huh? Our covenants.
Which ones? I mean, all of them, or?
No, for Unit 5, I want to, I mean, they were done in 1965.
Well, and that's kind of something I wanted to bring up tonight, and it didn't, is if they're gonna be out there, cause I mean, we bought a home, so we read through them, you know,
Mhm.
cause we wanted to buy their covenants, we understand that. But yeah, some of them were like, what? It's like, okay, if they're gonna have it.
I don't want to go by the covenants because they're stupid.
So they need to be, yeah, they need to be read.
When we built our house and stuff, when I retired from the Navy, I spent 20-some years as a combat medic with the Marine Corps. And they told me I couldn't have my flagpole
Yeah, I think you're telling me.
when I moved in there and I put up a flagpole. They told me I could not have a flagpole.
Did you have flagpole? I saw it.
You betcha. And they told me I couldn't have a chain link fence too.
Yeah, our neighbors.
So I
have
drove
chain
down the
link.
road and I wrote down the
Well,
address of every chain link fence on Colorado Boulevard. I came back to the board meeting and I presented that to him. And the lawyer, he was telling me that the reason that you had to have a wooden fence was in case somebody's horse jumped the fence. He says, if it's a chain link fence, he says, it might scratch their stomach. And I looked at the attorney and I says, well, I says, if somebody's horse jumps my fence, I says, they're gonna have a bigger problem than a horse with a scratched stomach. I says, they're gonna have to figure out how to get that dead horse out of my backyard.
Well, I think,
He
yeah,
just
I
about
think
went
they
through the
definitely
roof.
need to change because they don't really apply, you know. And like I said, if they can't be enforced, then don't
Yeah.
have them, you know.
And I have to give up 10 feet of the back of my property, I guess, for an equestrian easement. The only thing that goes through there are bears and deer and fox and
Have you seen the deer or the bear that's out now? He came and visited us twice.
is he the one with the red face and red arm, red
I
legs?
think he's red, but he's skinny.
Or-
He's about that, you know, on all fours, tall, you know, big, but very skinny.
Cinnamon?
Yeah.
The main part of his body is cinnamon and
I haven't
his
seen
head
the
and
print.
legs are dark.
We saw
He was
him,
by the other night.
I bet it's the same one because he went through by our cameras. We've got some cameras in the back, and so
Yeah.
we saw him go by our back porch and then up and down the street. So yeah, I bet he came down to see you.
Yeah.
Well, our neighbor, and before we saw him there, our neighbor across the street called me one night and she said, there's a bear in your backyard. And we were leaving, my girls and I were leaving, and we looked and we could see him, you know, up above us. And so Mark and my son Kyle went running out there to see him. They're not afraid of bears, but.
No, I mean, we've been here for 20-some years, and we've had multiple bears come through our backyard and come up in our yard. We had some of our dog food sitting out one night, and I turned the back porch light on, and there was a big old bear just laying there eating dog food, and I laid down at our back window, and he come right up to the window and put his nose right up against the window. We just sat there and stared at each other for a while. You know, I opened up the door and he goes running. I go out of my shop every once in a while and they're out there in my backyard. They just take off running.
Yeah, they know your scent, so they know you're harmless too.
Yeah,
they know
no.
you. They know who you
It's
are.
like the herd of deer. I mean, sometimes we get like 19 head of deer
Oh, I haven't seen that many. I've seen
walking
about
through our backyard.
5 to 7 together.
Yeah. we've counted up to 19 of them.
That's pretty cool. Well,
And
thanks.
I like the animals, you know, some
Yeah.
people, they move here and they're like, oh my God, you know, we gotta get rid of all these animals.
They live here.
We're in their territory,
Exactly, I agree.
you know?
No, we thought it was pretty exciting. Like I said, I didn't get out to go chase them, but Mark and my son went out. Well, thank you for your input about this. I mean, it's, normally we would be fine with it. We would have worked with these people, but that's not how it, that's how they approached us, so.
Like I said, I mean, maybe I'm just too easy, but life is too damn short as far as I'm concerned. Maybe it's because of what I dealt with in the military. I appreciate life too much, you know. Life
Well,
is
thank
way,
you for
way too
serving.
short.
Thank you for serving it.
Yeah.
Well, we felt like that too, but we moved here to get out of the city and to,
Yeah.
you know, enjoy nature and enjoy our natural yard, and then for somebody to come along and encroach like that, it's just
Well,
hard.
I kind of understand it, but you know, like I said, if it was me, I would make amends with them, figure out something, and you know, you know, if they're really totally assholes, you know,
They
that's
are.
one thing, but
I should probably not say anything else until it gets all resolved. I'm gonna let her know I'm gonna leave. I'm leaving. I'm tired. That's fine. Can you email a note and have it home tomorrow? I really want to know what the.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, what do you need?
When, however. And then I still want to
And I'll tell you what was your name? My name is Yvonne. Oh, that's interesting. Oh,
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome.
All right, well, thank you. We'll see you next meeting.
yeah, I will be here.
Okay, take
If
care.
I'm still alive, I'll be here.
Okay.
I gotta come bug them all the time.
All right, see ya.
Oh, the diehard ones stay.
Mr. Cars is still here.
You don't think I'd let you guys off that damn easy, do you? So on the burn pile, are you gonna put a size limit on it?
I should have said this earlier. I bet he doesn't want to, because sometimes when they do those burns, they wanna use them as like a teaching.
Yeah, and that's what he's gonna do, he's gonna break it into smaller piles.
Well, that's what I recommended, but from my experience, you go putting a 16-inch log on there.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna sit there and smolder for 2 weeks.
So all you have to
We
do is,
can-
Huh?
Let's throw some more gas.
as soon as, Mr. Gauss gets here.
Okay. I told you so.
No, I
They're
know.
back.
I was out there visiting, so.
Mr. Cars.
Excuse me, we're always waiting on
There you
Mr.
go.
Kraus.
Can I
Spent a
really
lot of time.
That's all right, the coffee I drank earlier, I had to go a few times.
At 8:55, I reopened the regular meeting. I better turn the recorder on. At 8:55, I'll reopen the regular meeting of Call City Metropolitan District. What else do we
Chairman, I
have?
move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Anybody have a problem with adjourning? We're adjourned.
Before you guys leave,
Kevin, I can guess my answer for Neil.
big check for you.
I got a big check for you.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much. You too.
Oh, boy. What am I gonna do with all this?
Jerry said I should pick up his.
And don't lose it like.
Put it all in place.
You can't sign your own checks?
Don't stand all on the spot.
Stop.
The authorized signatures, where you want them, or both of them, because this one doesn't have one.
Okay, I'll set it down.
Okay.
Go on.
Give me your, email.
I think I was thinking something. I think you did.